Welcome back to Potsy's Preppa's Paradise. Today I'm going to tell you about my Avid Armor USB 20 and how to seal jars 3 different ways. And it's not just ball jars we're going to seal today because that's all that these things recommend are ball jars. I'm going to show you how to reseal using resealable store-bought jars. And I'm also going to show you how I resealed in this store-bought jar in June, and these freeze-dried peas are still fresh with no oxygen absorber. When I got my Avid Armor, it did come with this hose, and I ordered these separately on Amazon. So these are just jar sealer lids. It's pretty cheap in Amazon. You can check my description. I'll put an affiliate link for these. And these canisters come, they don't come with the machine. You have to order them separately, and I highly recommend it because they are very versatile, and I'm going to show you just how versatile these canisters are. So let's begin. I've turned around my Avid Armor. I've plugged it in, and I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to take the little hose that they include with your purchase of any Avid Armor, and I'm going to put this in here. Now, not all Avid Armor chamber vacuum seals have this option, so make sure if this is something that you're looking for when you want a vacuum sealer, which is, I don't know why you wouldn't, that this option is part of it. And I know when you get Food Savers, that is also an option, and other cheap vacuum sealers also have this option. So make sure if you want to seal jars that you get the optional hose. With my 3 canisters, you get 3 sizes, of course. I use my smallest one just to store my expensive Manuka honey. We have a lot of ants here in the jungle house, and this is one of the ways I store my honey to keep the ants out. You can put the jar right in there, which is what I'm doing. And I'm going to take the nozzle. I'm going to pop it in there. And all I do here is press auto back and seal for 2 seconds and hold. 1, 2, until it turns on. It takes 2 seconds. I'm going to pop this out. And this is now airtight, and ants can't get in, and Manuka honey and honey don't spoil. But I'm just basically doing this to keep the ants out. How do I know it's sealed? Well, let me show you. If you just push this little spongy gray button on your canisters, you can hear the air come out. Take the lid off, all the air is out. Good to go. Next, we have this medium-sized canister. I've been storing my freeze-dried peas in this for about a month, and I don't really use this canister for much, so I don't mind it sitting there. I'm just gonna let the air out. Just gonna sample one just to make sure it's still freeze-dried. I love these canisters. I'm a little bit dry in my mouth, so pardon me. I'm gonna pop that in again. Come over here and hit auto back and seal for 2 seconds. 1, 2, until it goes off. I don't know if we'll see much action in there, probably not. And that's it. That is sealed. So I'm sealing an object in the canister. I'm sealing the food directly in the canister. And last, I'm going to show you just what the big canister is, what I use it for. I don't actually use it to store food in because I use it for sealing all these jars, and that's what we're going to do next. Just filled up 2 jars with ingredients that normally get moldy because I don't use them all the time. So I have to be very diligent in food storage here because the humidity can get upwards to 92% some days. I have 1 ball jar in my collection of jars, and that's enough to show you today what a ball jar can do. But because the ball jars are really hard to get and it's really expensive here where I live, we are subject to using reusable jars. And I'm going to show you how to seal the ball jar using this canister and how to seal a regular store-bought reusable jar using the canister as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this loosely on, pop this in the canister, and you have to make sure that your jar fits in the canister first, and if it doesn't, it won't have a good seal or it won't push down. This one is the only ball jar I have, and luckily it's the only one that fits. So we're just going to pop in the hose, hit the auto back and seal for 2 seconds. Finished. Then we unseal by pushing the little button, the stopper, open it up. Now, this top of the lid should be sealed on the ball jar. Yep, it's sealed. So you can store it like this or store it with your ring. Yay! I just love sealing so much. This makes me feel so good. I'm going to show you the store-bought jar. And you'd want the lids not tight, not hand tight, just, you know, it's not loose, but it's not tight. If it's too tight, it won't have a good seal. If it's too loose, it won't have a good seal. There is a lot of guessing and testing because sometimes it doesn't always work on the first try. So loosen or tighten as needed if you're not getting a proper seal. And yes, you will have a little bit of guess and test to get the right fit. Here we go, 2 seconds. Oh boy. Let's see if it worked the first time. I heard the little click in there. Oh, it worked. So when you release the air, that's usually when the seal gets sucked in. So now I have sealed lentils and sealed quinoa, and this will probably last up to a year or more. Now I'm going to show you option number 2 on how to seal jars using the detachable jar lids that you can order on Amazon or order through the company you get your vacuum sealer from. Make sure you get both size lids because you don't know, well, I guess it depends on the jars you have. But if you have 2 size lids, you have 2 more options. So I'm just going to open up this guy that we just sealed using this cool little tool. Oh, I hope I don't wreck the lid. Ooh, did you guys see that? Oh, vacuum sealing. And I'm going to show you from start to finish how I would do this using the lid sealer. You simply place this guy on. Then you put this guy on. I don't know, I should probably use proper names. You should put the plastic lid on. Make sure this is nice, tight, and clean. And make sure your product doesn't go right up to the top. I think it's simple canning rules. Make sure it's on nice and snug. I mean, don't be crazy. Put in the top into the little hole there. You're gonna do the exact same thing you did before. You're gonna press and hold auto vacuum seal for 2 seconds. Ooh, I seen it move. Now you're going to take this off, just wiggle it a little bit, and we have a tight seal. Ooh, who doesn't love vacuum sealing? Oh my gosh. Show you the hack on how to seal store-bought jars using these attachments. Just going to pop this guy open. All you're going to do is the same thing. You're just going to loosely put the lid on, put the top on. It's not as snug as it was on the ball jar, but it still is a tight fit. And if it's not going to work, you're going to know. You want to know how? Let's see. Press auto vacuum seal for 2 seconds. Ooh, and that tells me it worked. It didn't. Let's try it again. Oh, I heard the little snap. Did you guys? Ooh, looks like we got a seal. This is an amazing little hack. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that before, but I can use all my reusable jars instead of tossing them out and recycling them and buying ball jars. All these are usable. And the last jar, because I wanted to show you the big lid, it does the same thing as a small, but I got to show you everything. We have my sealed jar of freeze-dried peas. It's the exact same thing as with the little guy. We're going to put this in here. Again, like this is not very snug, but it's snug enough to get a pull from the machine. You can just see this move right in there. Look at that, easy. Oh, I love it. And while we were filming, these guys popped in the background. So I'm going to redo them because obviously it wasn't the right tightness on the lid. So again, I told you there's going to be a little bit of testing. It's not going to be perfect every time, but once you get it right, you'll be very satisfied. Oh yeah. Okay, and just see how fast this is in real time. If you had to do this after supper and store all your food, it really wouldn't take much more than a couple of minutes to do this. There, that's in. Perfect. And for the third way to seal your jars using your vacuum sealer is the chamber. And I know a lot of people are very hesitant and scared to use the chamber because glass explosions. And it's happened to me on more than one occasion, which is why I prefer using the canister and the jar method of sealing, because it kind of eliminates the risk of the jars exploding in the chamber. I'm just going to loosen this up and we're going to do it again. I'm going to show you how to do it in the chamber. You put the lid on exactly the same as you would the other jars, not too tight. Put it in the chamber. And I'm gonna hit seal only. If you hit auto vac and seal, it's gonna go for 17 seconds, which greatly increases the chance of your jar exploding. Just hitting seal only, look at that. Wow. So we're gonna see it kind of move when it's ready. Will it? Did it move already? Oh, that means it's ready. Did you see that? Did you hear that sound? That provided a good, solid quality seal. The key is to use seal only and not auto vac and seal, and make sure the lid is on loose. Do be aware that there will be a chance for an explosion, so if it explodes, I am not liable for this. And for my last trick, I have this jar of freeze-dried peas I've been keeping in this jar since June, and I always open it and do a test to see how long this is staying fresh with no oxygen absorber, just by using my vacuum sealer. And today is January 8th, I think. So it's been 6 months in this jar with me checking it, and I'm going to check today to see if it is still fresh and vacuum and freeze-dried tasting. Dry. Oh my gosh, they legit are. And they almost taste better than these, which have been sitting for less time. That is so weird. Right, let's seal these back up. I'm gonna sign and date it and seal them back up in the chamber. I've dated it again, and I'm gonna pop it back in my chamber. Loose lid, seal only. Let's see what happens. I wonder if it's gonna move. All right, and here it is. It just kind of releases the air. Sometimes the peas inside move. This one didn't seal, so we're gonna do that again. Let's see if the lid moves. Woo! Ooh. Oh, and we got a seal. Like I said, it doesn't always work the first time. Don't think your vacuum sealer is a failure. It just takes a few testing, basically effing about a little bit just to make sure you get it right. You can also follow my channel because I have done all the mess ups you can believe, and they're all in my shorts. I have a little bit of like hacks and information on how to avoid things, but that's it for today. This is the 3 ways to seal jars. So thank you for joining me. And if you're interested in an Avid armor of your own, they have a new small model that just came out. This is not the new small model. This is my USB 20. It is turned out to be one of my most used appliances in the kitchen. It does so much more than vacuum seal bags and vacuum seal jars, and I'm going to show you all about it. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss it. Thank you for joining. Almost forgot, before I let you all go, I have discovered this cute little hand pump vacuum sealer. It is really purposeful if you don't want to purchase a vacuum sealer, chamber vacuum seal, and you won't have any use for it. And also, if you live in a country where I do, the power goes out every hour or so. It's not absolutely imperative that I'm like constantly sealing jars, but it is a nice option to have, especially when I open up my freeze-dried peas, because the humidity here can affect these peas within 5 to 10 minutes. Like we open up a bag of chips and a bag of chips is stale within 10 minutes of leaving it out. So that's why I'm so diligent about vacuum sealing and keeping my items fresh. This little hand pump vacuum sealer can seal jars 2 ways. The first way is going to be the canister way. I give the jar lid a bit of a tight screw on, because I feel like the handheld pump doesn't seal as hard and give a hard suck like the vacuum sealer, the electric one does, because my hand can only do so much. Maybe some of you guys out there could probably pump this longer and harder than I can, but this is what I got, guys. You're supposed to do this 15 times, but I do it close to 30, or when this kind of starts to draw back. Don't forget to put this attachment in first, because you're going to have a fun time hand pumping air forever. All right, you're supposed to do this 10 to 15 times. I usually do it about 30, just to be sure. And I like the workout. Who doesn't like to sit here and pump plastic all day when they have other things to do, like laundry, feeding kids, feeding the floors, washing the dishes that I've hid in the background, which I actually didn't. It's getting really hard to pump. I've done it more than 30 times, I would say. I just like to do it the extra good, give it extra good measure. Is that the way you say it? I'm not even sure. Let's let the air out of this sucker. Oh. And did you hear that pop? That means there's a good seal. Look at that. Second way I'm going to show you how to use your hand pump vacuum sealer is the way that it was intended for, not using the vacuum canisters, but the jar sealer lids. And they are made for ball jars. I don't find that they work very well if I put this over here. This will work with my Avid Armor, but it will not work with my hand pump. So you put the lid on. You put the attachment on snug. So don't be afraid to get in there. Get it down and dirty. Use a little muscle. I'm really not that weak, you guys. Have a good look around it. It's not perfectly down, so I'm just gonna shove it down a little bit more. Make sure that's nice and snug. That does not look good to me, so that would be a fail. I'm gonna do that again. Make sure it's even all the way around and nice and tight for the best suck. Right on. So Canadian. I'm gonna pop this in here. I'm going to do the same pumping action I did on the last canister seal. I think this is going to work, but let's try. Trick is you don't want the lid to come off. So the lid came off with the seal. So what I'm going to do is this cool hack. You put 2 lids on. Then you put your jar lid sealer, get it on there good. Make sure it's nice and even and snug all the way around, because you don't want to pump for nothing. You want some reward out of this pumping. I'm getting a little bit of a arm workout myself. It is really hot where I live, and I don't know where my thermometer is, but it's probably about 28 degrees and 80% humidity. So hand pumping jars is just not on my list of fun things to do, but I'm really excited to get a video out to you guys about this. Okay, now the moment of truth. Oh, I don't even think that was in very good. Oh, so the first lid came out and this lid sealed. So my little hack worked. If it's not working with one lid, pop 2 lids on and you will get a seal. I will leave a link, an affiliate marketing link through my Amazon in the description below for this. It's kind of like a can't lose. I mean, it was $15, came with a few attachments, and I will also have the link to my unboxing and reviewing of that as well, probably up here or up here. So thanks again for joining me. See you soon.